Hello everyone, and welcome back to our final episode in the introduction of the new, never-before-announced characters for Season 2 of the CCSL. Today we will be highlighting the 4 new characters joining the Cardinal division and the 4 new characters joining the Ivory division, and that will round out the roster. We're not quite ready to announce the debut of Season 2 just yet, so stay tuned for that announcement coming to you next week. Now before we jump into the character introductions, do check to see if you are subscribed to the channel. Feel free to do so if you are not, as the subscription is free and easy. And we are nearing that 125 subscriber milestone by the channel's first anniversary. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and let's jump into the character intros. First, we will be having a look at the characters that are being introduced to the Cardinal division. The first character being introduced today is Marth, and Marth will be joining, like we mentioned, the Cardinal division. Now, we have a fair spread of Fire Emblem characters throughout the different divisions of the CCSL in this second season, but Marth is pretty unique in his own right. Being one of the longest standing members of the Smash Bros. Roster, he first appeared in his original game in 1990. Now, Marth has a really cool mechanic that will be interesting to see the interactions of in this season of the CCSL, as he tends to deal more damage the better he hits his characters with the tip or the edge of his sword. And it will be quite a unique challenge for him, but an explosive potential as well as we look to get this second season underway. Each time Marth squares off against one of his opponents at home, he will be doing so from the Castle Siege stage, and even though Ike is doing his matches from the exact same stage, you'll be able to tell the difference because whenever Marth is the home listed character, you will hear the Shadow Dragon medley playing in the background. We look forward to seeing how Marth fares in this season 2. The second character joining the Cardinal division is Olimar from the Pikmin series, and this makes the first combatant that we're seeing that uses additional characters, if you will, as a part of their moveset, really, with the only other option having been Ice Climbers, but they found themselves on the outs for this season. Now, Captain Olimar, the veteran astronaut, first appeared in his original game, Pikmin, in 2001, and has a very unique moveset where most, if not all, of his attacks are based around implementing the different types of Pikmin, and he does have 5 different Pikmin at his disposal, each with their own property and unique quirk. Now, every time that Olimar takes on one of his opponents from home, he will do so from the Garden of Hope stage, and you'll hear the main theme from the Pikmin series playing in the background of his matches. Now, Olimar is going to be quite formidable, especially with the multiple types of attacks that he can dole out against his opponents, and the Pikmin are sure to bring a very interesting variety of attack styles and gameplay to this second season of the CCSL. The third character that we are bringing on board is none other than the Goddess of Light herself, Palutena, which, given the fact that she is in the Cardinal division, brings a very interesting duality when compared with Ganondorf being the King of Darkness or the Lord of Darkness. And that will be a very interesting duality to see, especially where they will square off against each other 3 times in the course of the season. Now, Palutena has been around for a while, as she made her first appearance in the original Kid Icarus series back in 1986. And she has a lot of power that you do not want to underestimate or get caught on the wrong end of. Now, Palutena has a lot of ranged capabilities, but you also do not want to underestimate her if she wants to get up close and personal, as her Nair and other attacks are very reliant damage dealers. Now, every time that Palutena takes on an opponent from home, she will do so from her own home temple, and we will hear the Destroyed Skyworld theme playing in the background. and we are looking forward to see the interactions that Palutena has with the fellow members of her own division, as well as the other characters spread across the other teams within this league. The fourth and final newcomer character to the Cardinal division is another Fire Emblem character, but a newer character at that, in the form of Corrin of Nor. And Corrin was first introduced in 2015 in his debut game, and shortly thereafter he joined the Smash 4 roster, making himself one of the fastest members of the Smash roster to join, and at least from the youngest standpoint of being introduced in their own main staple game. Now, Corrin is another character that will actually double as a character that also shares a home stadium, as Robin also competes from the Coliseum stage. But again, you will know the difference between when each character is the home character based off of the theme that's playing. And in Corrin's case, we will hear Lost in Thought All Alone, specifically the new remix playing of that every time that he is the home character taking on his opponents. Now, this Blood of Dragons warrior is sure to bring some fierce matches, and it will be quite the adventure to see how he interacts with the different members of the cast. Last but not least, we have the characters that will be joining us from the Ivory division, and these are a quite versatile set of characters to round out the Season 2 roster. The first of these new characters is a familiar face that we've seen from a different division, but in a very uniquely different role, and that is Mario Jumpman Mario. And Mr. Video Game himself has a lot of areas where he could have been represented, a lot of places that we could see him come from. But given that he's a member of the Ivory division, it seemed fitting for him to not only wear his best dress, but also to represent the stage and theme from the game of which that outfit originates from. So his home stage will be New Donk City Hall, and we will hear the amazing theme of Jump Up Superstar playing in the background of all of his matches. Now, Dr. Mario and Mario have a lot of similarities, but Mario himself is quite a bit quicker and more light-footed, so there will be a very interesting duality between the two characters, and some interesting interactions not only between those characters as a whole, as they will square off once, but just the duality that Mario will bring to this cast and roster. So we eagerly await the performance of both Marios as this season gets underway. The second newcomer to the Ivory division is another Fire Emblem character, and the newest character to be added to Smash at that, in the form of Byleth Eisner, the Ashen Demon and protagonist of the most recent Fire Emblem Three Houses game. Now, Byleth is officially the youngest character in Smash, as the game released just this past year, and Byleth was introduced within a couple of short months after the game's original release, to some controversy, but she will bring a lot of versatility to the CCSL roster as we get this season underway. Now, it is only fitting for Byleth to take on the opponents that she will face off at home against in the Garreg Mach Monastery, and we will hear the main theme from Fire Emblem Three Houses playing in the background of her matchups as well. Now, Byleth, even though she is from Fire Emblem and primarily wields a sword, has the unique distinction of being able to alter between a couple of different weapons, and that will make her quite a threat as she takes on her fellow Ivory combatants, as well as faces off against other members of the league during the course of this season. The third character introduced today to the Ivory division is Fox McCloud, leader of Star Fox. And Fox is, like Mario, one of the veterans from the very first Smash game, though he's not quite as old as Mario is in terms of when he was first released or introduced. Now, Fox was first introduced in the Star Fox series of games, and that dates clear back to 1993. Now, there are a lot of stages that we could have had representation from for Fox's home matchups, but the one that fits best with the upbeat nature of the fights that we are looking for is not only the Corneria stage, but also the Corneria theme that plays at this stage as he takes these fights underway. Now, this fearless leader of Star Fox has quite the versatility in terms of moving in quickly for the kill, as well as dancing around at a distance to deal out increasing amounts of damage. And it will be a very fresh difference to have Fox running around with this cast to keep all of the extra fighters that he faces off against on their toes, as you really never should underestimate Fox's capabilities. And we'll be eagerly watching him as he hopefully rises to the top among these combatants. The fourth and final character, not only for the Ivory division, but the last revealed character for all of the CCSL Season 2, is Pichu. And Pichu is not necessarily replacing his compatriot Pikachu, who is not returning from Season 1, but brings an interesting couple of differences to the table as well, as one of the few Pokemon being represented in this second season. Now, Pichu doesn't have a name, or at least a full name, as you can reveal, as again, with Pokemon you can really name them whatever you want to. But he is shockingly adorable, and that can prove to be a little bit of a problem for this tiny little fighter, as each time he deals out any move that deals electrical damage, he does take a bit of recoil, and that can prove to be a little devastating. But on the converse side, because of that additional recoil damage that he deals to himself, there's a very high damage output potential that makes up for that self-deficit. Now, even though he is new to Season 2 of the CCSL, he first appeared in the second generation of Pokemon games with the release of Pokemon Gold and Silver in 1999. Each time Pichu is confronting an opponent, he will do so from Pokemon Stadium 2, and we will hear the theme from those games. So that's going to do it for the announcement of the final roster of the CCSL Season 2, and we will have the announcement of the inception of that season very shortly, so keep your eyes peeled for that announcement coming sometime next week. Thanks again for watching, and you have yourself an absolutely fantastic rest of your day.